Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 147, the week before Christmas. How's everyone doing? Wade, by the look of your shirt, you're doing very well and you're feeling festive.
That's right. I'm prepared to have a Griswold family Christmas this year. This is my Temu special Christmas edition Griswold shirt, which is required watching for the holidays, right?
Absolutely. There's that, Christmas Carol, Christmas Story, Home Alone,
Elf,
Home Alone 2, Elf, which we I think me and my wife have already pretty much covered maybe 50% of the holiday movies out there. We watched Elf, Home Alone 2. We watched also the one with Tim Allen.
Oh yeah,
Santa Claus. We watched that one. Die Hard. I mean, I guess it's technically during Christmas. Bunch of other ones. Anyway, plenty of time to catch up on those next week. So welcome to our show. This is a special edition one for those that haven't picked up on that. It's Outside the Tank volume 4 already. We're already at 4.
That's right.
Flying by. And so we're going to be bringing on Kent Yoshimura. He's the co-founder of Neuro Gum, and also Kevin Consolo, the co-founder of, I have ERASERS on here, but I see a sneaker word down here, but it's ERASERS. Yep. And what's funny is when I Googled his image to make the image that we have, the image that everyone knows and loves, the cover image, I put in Kevin Consolo, ERASERS, and it came up with a picture of his co-founder, Chris Pavlika. And I accidentally used his picture in the episode. So it's really funny. And so when Kevin posted on LinkedIn, he's like, hey, my co-founder looks really I wish I was as handsome as him. So it was funny. Some mix up there, a Google image mix up. So welcome to our show. We're the #1 rated CPG podcast in the world. Make sure to keep us that way. Go to Apple Podcasts, literally search for CPG Vibes, scroll down, click us, and then at the bottom, 5 stars. Please do that if you have not done that. It means a lot to us, more than you'll ever know, to the point where Wade and I will steal people's phones off the street to give ourselves a 5-star rating. Sponsorship and block rates. You can email cpgvibes100@gmail.com and get special deals. It's $350 for the first episode. And we have block rates. People such as Melting Forest has done it. Powerful Energy has done it, and so forth and so on. So make sure to email cpgvibes100@gmail.com. We also have our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@CPG We also have our back wall sponsors that we know and love. And rumor has it, Wade, there might be a new one coming on. We don't know. We're working out that we're finalizing that deal here, but there is room for one more brand. One of these brands are coming up on their sponsorship agreement, and they're going to be swapped out and swapped in for another one. But on the back wall currently is Melting Forest, Feel Free, and Ginger Labs. And Melting Forest does have a crowdfunding campaign running on Start Engine, so make sure to check that out. We also have our sponsor. We have 2. We have, and speaking of Melting Forest, they are the sponsor, I believe, scrolling down for this episode. Yeah, Sean McDonald at Melting Forest. And they're going to be giving away a free 12-pack of their delicious adaptogenic functional mushroom drinks. And I'm sure, maybe our guest Wade will be feeling festive and giving in the season of giving, to give away something as well. We don't know. I'm putting them on the spot. Hopefully they say yes. We don't know yet, but hopefully they will. And we have our ongoing sponsor, and that is Range Me. Range Me is the smartest way to get your brand in front of thousands of retailers. Experience always on-brand exposure, exclusive buyer discovery opportunities, and access to proprietary insights, research, and resources. With over 15,000 buyers, Range Me ensures continuous exposure to retail buyers from top retailers like Target, Albertsons, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Costco, Wegmans, H-E-B, Food Lion, Giant Foods, Fresh Market, and many more. But that's not all. Range Me combined with ECRM, that's Joe Tarnowski, category sessions deliver exclusive live in-person events where you can meet directly with leading national and regional retail buyers for curated face-to-face meetings. Ready to elevate your brand? Visit rangeme.com/CPG vibes. Explore membership options. You can save up to 30%. Feel free to sponsor the back wall. Yep. There you go. What's up, Cameron? How you doing, buddy? Love Cameron. Good guy. Good guy. So we have Arrange Me. So it's normally $13.99, costs $9.99. And then we have our pro subscription, which is $24.99. But on discount for $16.99, go to rangeme.com/CPG vibes. Wade, did I miss anything at all in the intro?
I think you nailed it. I also
got to mention, have you tried this before? Just
I've not had that one. I've not had that one.
It started at Target, so this is the Suja protein drink. Now they came out with stuff like this before, but I feel like they really nailed this one. They had some stuff in the past that just didn't do as well, but they nailed this one. It's $3.99, I think, for $4.99 at Target. And then I found it at Sprouts. Sprouts brought it in. Sprouts, right? Over at V Driven, I think, a little bit. And it's delicious. It's clean. They have vitamin. Check this out, Wade. Vitamin A, B, C, D, and E on the front.
Wow, that's impressive.
You can teach your kids the alphabet with this bottle at the same time. 16 grams of plant-based protein, no chalkiness. They didn't send this to me, Wade, so I don't want to make you feel bad. I had to buy it this time. I'm not used to buying shit, but for this one, I bought it. That's how good it is. So
right on.
Okay, so we're going to go right into bringing our guests on. So Ken, make sure to turn on your camera there. It's turned off. So, all right, so we have, this is the Outside the Tank Volume 4. These are entrepreneurs that were on Shark Tank in the past, and they're going to talk about their experience. So we have Kevin Consolo. He is the co-founder of ERASERS. And then we have Kent Yoshimura, and he is the co-founder of Neuro Gum. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing very, very good. The back wall has been completely blocked out. Sorry, Cameron. We can't see Feel Free anymore back there. We have to figure out the settings here on StreamYard. And then Ken, it looks like you have a big noise blocking gray wall.
Oh yeah. So hopefully you guys can hear me properly. I listen to the instructions.
Awesome. Are you at home? Or are you at an office, or where are you at?
Oh, I'm at my office right now. Yeah, we work out at the TikTok offices when we're in LA. So I'm at the TikTok offices right now.
Oh, cool. I think I drove by that. Where is it again?
In Culver City.
Yeah. Okay. Hills. Yeah, that Fox Hills. I remember driving right by because I was charging my Tesla there, at the West Side Pavilion Mall. And I remember seeing the logo. Tesla last night. There you go. It's so cool. It's right walking distance right from your office. I love it. And the Target as well. Are you guys in Target?
We are not yet, but that might be something coming up in a few months.
Okay. Yeah. Foreshadowing. All right. So how we really do this episode, it's a little more intimate this time. Usually we have 90 people on, that are from Shark Tank, and everyone has 30 seconds to talk. This time you guys have a much bigger spotlight on you, and you have much more time to talk and share your stories. So we're just going to go around the very small room that we have here at CPG Vibes and have you guys just introduce yourself and so your name, company, and then also a tradition we have, one thing about you that we don't know. You've never said publicly to anyone, but you want to share it here on the show. It doesn't have to be legal. It could be illegal. Just make sure to have your lawyers ready after the show ends. I'm just kidding. So let's start over with Kevin. How's it going, my friend?
Good. I didn't get the memo on the Temu Griswold's shirt, but looking good.
Next time.
Yeah, got to wear the Sneaker Racer shirt. My name's Kevin Consolo. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, from Ohio. And my product is Sneaker Racers. My co-founder had some scuffed up shoes. That was about 10 years ago. getting ready for a meeting in his Hollywood film career on a pitch. He's a creative director. So he was wearing shoes that kind of, look like this. They got the white midsole. Everybody's wearing these shoes, that bright white midsole, and they were just all scuffed up in his luggage. He's getting ready for the meeting, the highlight of his outfit. And he's just scrambling on Google, like, what do I use to clean these? Like, are there any home remedies? Because I don't want to look like a bum. And then we're former college roommates from Ohio University. He called me after the meeting. He's like, I couldn't find anything on the market that's quick. Like, we're talking less than 10 minutes, doesn't make a mess. Something that can get these scuff marks off. So it's kind of a white space opportunity. Kind of always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So we went to the lab, and I don't know if you guys know, but I used to work for ECRM and Arrange Me. I might be the first former ECRM employee on Shark Tank, I would assume. Nice. So I was kind of already like in the retail world. I was like, this will be fun. Let's create an item and see if we can get it on the shelf somewhere. And we're in 60,000 stores now, and I've been full time for about 6 years, and it's been a blast. But our main item that we launched with is a pre-moistened dual-sided sponge. It looks just like this with a chamois on it. It's real simple. So the pre-moistened one's ready to use. All you do is you just use the white side and just buff away those scuff marks really quickly.
Cool.
So that was the core product. A unique thing about me, man.
Not only unique, but something that no one knows about you that you can share publicly.
Wow.
Or very few people know. Maybe just close friends, spouse, but no one else beyond that.
Well, I was going to say a couple of things I think people do know because, like I taught tennis for 8 years, but that was 8 years. So I think people know that. On my mom's side, we're distantly related to Diana Spencer, Princess Diana. So that's kind of something I don't really mention. Yeah.
It's interesting. Royalty.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. Wow. Well, so it's really interesting. I had a childhood friend growing up. Last name is Adams. And we used to call him Sam Adams, right, like the beer, instead of, he has another name, but we called him Sam Adams just for a joke. And we come to find out that he was actually related to John Quincy Adams.
Oh, wow.
So he's actually literally related to a president from the past, from many lineages. There's probably hundreds in their family, and he's one of them. So cool. All right. So, and then Kent, what's going on, brother? Welcome to our show.
Yeah, Kevin, it seems like we have really similar starts across the board on the company. My co-founder Ryan and I were best friends in college as well. We were both athletes. He got in a really bad snowboarding accident his sophomore year that left him paralyzed from the waist down. But during that time, I was training for the Olympics in judo. I was fighting in Thailand and taking this career path like a good Asian boy to be a doctor. So I was studying neuroscience and mixing supplements in my room. And those supplements I was mixing, I was providing to Ryan so that he could get back into the groove of things. And on a scuba diving trip, both of us realized that what if we could make supplementation accessible across the board? So instead of the traditional formats of pills or energy drinks or things like that, we place it into a gum and mint format that no one else has really done before. And we really have this really strong moat around us, around the patented technology and everything that we use for our product. And that was about 10 years ago also. And, like all overnight successes, it takes a decade to get to where we are, but we're less retail heavy. We're in about 30,000 retail stores, but we are fairly dominant on Amazon as well as TikTok. We're the number one product in the health category on TikTok, which is why I get to work out of their offices. And it's been an incredible journey just being able to really change the mindset of consumers across the board on how they could get supplementation, energy, focus, calm, clarity, sleep, all the things that we have launched so far. So one thing that really people don't know about me, I guess if we're going into lineages, 3 years ago, I found out I'm actually half Korean. And if anyone's ever seen Pachinko, my mom's side of the family basically escaped the war that was happening in the East and pretended that they were 100% Japanese. And so I grew up Japanese my entire life, but I had a little bit of identity shock when I found out that, my entire life's been a lie.
Wow.
So,
Was it like 23andMe that you just found out?
it was 23andMe, and
Oh
then I
my
confronted my
gosh.
parents about it. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's I always have a story to tell as well where I have a African American friend, and he went on 23andMe, and I'm Jewish, right? And we were joking before. I'm like, hey, that'd be funny if you were part Jewish or something, right? Like, just from the past, random. And he's actually, I believe, like 3 to 4% Jewish on 23andMe.
Whoa.
And so it's really interesting. Like, you could be from anywhere. It doesn't matter what you look like. It could be from anywhere, just from years and years and years of just down the lineage. So
You can apply for birthright.
seriously, yeah, he can go to Israel probably doesn't want to go right now, but he could definitely go there. So let's get into just some topics and some questions. And I know Wade has some questions as well,
Yep.
but my favorite question to ask, and then Wade will have some, is when you're, because I was also on Shark Tank, right? I was season 11, episode 12. And what season episodes were you guys on?
I was season 12, episode 23.
Okay.
Yeah, I was season 11 also, episode 8, I think.
Okay,
Season
so you're
11.
a few before me, four
Yeah.
before me.
It was like 4
Got
or
it.
5 years ago at this
Yep.
point.
Yeah, we were lucky because it was the pre-COVID taping,
Yep.
pre-COVID prep. You show up to Culver City, you do the rehearsal, and then you just do the show, right? It was so much easier back then. Now it's
Not
Kevin has
season
a story.
12. Yeah.
Not season 12, and we'll get into that as far as pre and post pre-COVID and COVID, just how it all worked, right, with Shark Tank. But going into it, before you go out on the stage and go out on that really famous Persian rug, and you're standing behind the doors, and you're ready to go out, how did you feel? What was going through your mind? What did you do to calm down? What were you telling yourself? And I'm going to start, and also your co-founders, right, who are with you. I'm going to start it with Kevin. What happened right before you went out on the stage?
Well, a little before that moment, like I really had to pee, and I think it was nerves, and they were just ushering you to. We were the first one after, some type of lunch break, so they were rushing us that you're next, but first we got to talk to you for 10 minutes and kind of go over something, and then you're gonna, hair and makeup, whatever. And I was like, can I go to the bathroom? It's like, yeah, but just not yet. And I just everybody just kept telling me not yet. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna pee my pants right before I go on to Shark Tank. So that was insane, it was a scramble. But then I just calm myself down, and my business experience, I presented in France on a college program to 20 people that some spoke English, some translators, multi-million-dollar businesses. Let's just pretend this is the business presentation. Forget about the cameras. I know that there's a billionaire here. I know there's some millionaires. And we've been cooped up in the hotel, which is a whole nother story for the season 12.
Venetian, right?
Yes. So I was in Las Vegas, so I was just I'm just going to pretend this is a 45-minute business presentation. You've over-prepared. There's no way I could have prepared more. I did what I could. Your stuff. Let's just go out and rock it. My co-founder was a little bit more nervous than I was, as you can see from the show. But that was how I calmed myself down.
Did you guys talk to each other at all? Like pep talk each other or say anything right before they started taping?
Yeah, when we were walking to the carpet, we actually said a couple jokes to each other, some inside jokes and some fun
lighten
names.
the mood.
Lighten the mood, and then, or we're just how funny would that be if the mic picked it up and they're like, what are these guys talking about? But
and they do that. They do that sometimes, where when they're talking behind the doors, they show a pre-shot of them talking, right. And we're about to go out. Oh, we're so nervous. All right, so cool story. So Kent, how about you? What did you and your co-founder talk about? Ryan, right, before he went out?
Yeah, Ryan. It was pretty funny because we made a stack of note cards this thick of every single potential question that they could ask us, and we were just in the back room studying the answers for every single one, making sure our numbers are right, making sure all of our talking points are right. And I do also remember having to pee, funny enough, because of the nerves. So you pull up to that door, it's oh God, what they show on the on the TV is really only 7 minutes. So this is probably only going to be 20 minutes at most, and the editors will cut it down. We were
Nope.
on there for an hour and a half.
Oh,
right.
Mhm.
So, it all worked out though. The biggest thing I remember was when they tell you, "Oh, go!" Like when you start walking down that carpet. I started walking so fast without even knowing to get through the doors that Ryan was like struggling to keep up
Trying
with
to
me.
catch up with you.
Catch up with me. And the second we were in there, that 90-second pitch that you have to memorize and have down was definitely the most nerve-wracking part. But then after that, it felt like any other investor meeting.
Mhm.
And I feel like all of our nerves just kind of went away.
Went away.
So
Yeah.
it was a cool little moment. But it was definitely nerve-wracking at the start.
Yeah, one other thing I'll add too is that I also had to go to the bathroom right before. It's like a thing in
It's like
the human body. It's like a defense mechanism that when you're nervous, suddenly everything flushes and you're like, okay, I have to go. It's like your body's trying to get rid of stuff or something because you're nervous. I don't know. I never paid attention to anatomy, so I don't know the reason why. Maybe someone can comment here who's a doctor or something. But I brought probably something that you should not drink before going on Shark Tank, which was magnesium. You're thinking not alcohol, not anything, magnesium, like natural calm, right? Because I get anxiety, right? Social anxiety. Had it for 25 years. And so I had a fucking mason jar this big, and I was nursing it like just to kind of, I did yoga in the parking lot. I did everything possible to calm down, right? Except alcohol or drugs or weed or something like that. And I was nursing this mason jar of magnesium that it gives you the runs, right? If you have enough of it, it flushes your stomach out, but it does a great job of calming you down. And I'm like, when is this going to come to roost, man? Like, when am I going to actually have to go to the bathroom, whether it's number 1 or number 2? And I never went to number 2. Sorry for the detail, but I had to go number 1. I was so afraid I'd be like crapping my pants on air or something like that. But I did go number 1 right before, and they did the same thing, man. They're like, soon, you can go soon. And I had to beg them. I'm like, I got my mic on right now. I'm like about to go out. I need to go like right now. I'm not going to go on air. And they let me go. So anyway, Wade, what do you got?
I want to talk a little bit about where you were at with your companies going in, with regards to retail presence and online presence for that matter, and then kind of like a before and after scenario. Like, okay, going in to the show, you were here, and then let's just say 6 months after the show, where were you? And let's start with Kent this time.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, I think we were doing around $3.5 million a year in revenue. And maybe like our ARR at that time was around like 5 million. But it was interesting because Shark Tank itself definitely drove, I want to say for us, like $500,000 in GMV pretty quickly within like the first 3 months. And the re-airings would continue to pop. But Joe Rogan mentioned us kind of within that 6-month time frame. And he did literally like 8 times more. It was crazy. Like his reach was just so much more impactful than Shark Tank. So it was really hard to, and everything's a push and a pull in marketing. So I think the push of the impressions that we were getting from Shark Tank funneling into Joe Rogan, and then us having all of our bottom of funnel conversion metrics and all those things figured out for Shark Tank really amplified how our business was able to accelerate within that next six months to a year.
Did you have any supply issues with that during that time frame, going from Shark Tank and then the Rogan plug? Was there any issues with capabilities and keeping up with the demand?
No, I mean, thankfully, and that's like one of our biggest I want to say a hurdle, but one of our biggest opportunities now with inventory at the point we're at now. But we have a product that has a 2-year shelf life. So we were able to front load a lot of things, thankfully. And so we didn't have issues. And then although our lead times are a little bit longer, we were able to kind of keep up and understand what demand may be so we could plan accordingly.
Nice. Kevin, how about you?
I think, we're kind of a little unique for Shark Tank companies, I think, because we didn't really have a DTC or like too much on Amazon or Shopify at the time because my background was mostly retail, and I was the first of the two of us, my co-founder and I, to go full time, and Chris was still doing his film thing in Hollywood. And when I got the go ahead from my wife to let's try this, let's do this, let's jump in, I was, going to Kroger, Costco, we're meeting at the Walmart Made in America open call. And I was, Chris has all the wherewithal of like, the green screen and the cameras and doing all the advertising. And we didn't have any agencies or any Amazon at the time. So it's, we were starting to skyrocket a little bit by the time that we filmed, but I think we were only doing like 1.2 million or something in sales by the time that we filmed. And most of it was retail. The year before we filmed, we went 2019. We went from 200 stores to 40,000, and that was my first full-time year. So that was what. Wow. So I just tell any entrepreneur that's thinking about, should I take this side project and go full-time? I mean, if it has any type of proof of concept, dive into it. And so we made it work that first year. And right before COVID, I actually got an ECRM. We met with Dollar Tree, and our concept is, doesn't make sense for the cost structure of Dollar Tree. So, but they loved it, and it was made in America. But I went to China in July of 2019 to figure everything out because of that one meeting at ECRM. Went to China, found our supplier, and we, just like Mr. Wonderful said on the show, it's a Shark Tank first. You knocked yourself off. This is our core product, pre-moistened, made in America. And then this is Shoe Eraser. We designed it to make it look like someone was trying to knock us off. And it's so we can go into the economy line, the dollar line, or whatever it might be, with different compositions. And we and then after we aired, we were one of the, I guess, I don't know, lucky ones. We filmed in September and we didn't air until May. So we had a really long run to prepare inventory. We made like the Shark Tank bundles for all of our core brands and prepared everything for Shopify and loaded up Amazon. And a lot of our sales were Amazon, but I think some of the tangible outcomes were a lot of the retailers and we did a lot of outreach of like, hey, we're on Shark Tank, to a lot of the retailers that we wanted to be in. And I think that credibility of being on the show and seeing the episode kind of allowed us to get that that tangible short-term boost beyond the e-commerce side. But that kind of started the flywheel to go where we're number one on Amazon in shoe cleaning category and have been for years. And then now the buyers see, as seen on Shark Tank, number one on Amazon, all these great reviews. And it's kind of like that, okay, like let's try it type credibility. So it's been great for us. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Yeah. And then just real quick, just so everyone knows, just level setting it, what was the deal that you went in proposing? If there was a deal, what was the deal that actually happened on the handshake, right, or hug? And then did the deal go through? Those three questions. So what was the deal going in that you asked? What deal actually happened and was agreed upon on air, if there was a deal? And then if there was a deal on air, did the deal go through? So Kent.
Yeah. So I think we went in at $750K at a $15 million valuation, which is around the multiple that, against top line revenue that was pretty typical during that time. So we went in, they thought our valuation was too high, although we've raised money at that valuation during that time.
Shocker, right?
Yeah,
they always say
shocker.
that.
They're sharks. And so Robert Herjavec came back with, I'm going to give you $1 million, but I wanted to drop down to $7 million. I had to think about that. And then Kevin O'Leary gave us some weird convoluted loan deal that he always gives. We did and tried to outmath it. And then he also wanted equity on top of that, right? So we immediately kind of shut him down because the unit economics didn't make sense. But while we were compelled to take the deal with Robert Herjavec, it would have been such a, we just raised money about a year ago, and we were trying to go back and forth, find a middle ground with that deal structure, maybe like $1 million at, a $10 million valuation, but he just wouldn't budge on that 7 million. And it was just a little too hard for us to accept it. So we didn't come out with the deal, but we've remained actually friends with some of the sharks, including Daniel Lubetsky. So all in all, it was a great relationship building practice regardless.
Got it. Interesting. Very interesting. And so, Kevin, to you.
We came into the show asking for 200,000 at 8%. We just like Kent, we had in the hotel room in Vegas, we had Post-it notes on the wall and all these different scenarios. If they come back at this equity, what would we say? What's our rebuttal? And at the end of the day, we decided, we saw a lot of shows leading up to season 12 where people came in with high valuations that didn't really make a lot of sense with their sales history, and they got yelled off the show, whether Mr. Wonderful would say, I'm going to squash you like a cockroach, get out of here. And we just didn't want that type of outcome. So we kind of lowered our valuation a little bit. We wanted a bidding war, and which is, we wanted the entertainment of that, and we wanted a better chance to air. And we got that. We got 4 offers. Mr. Wonderful, unlike Kent, he gave us like a straight up, really nice offer. And like, I never got to thank him for it was no royalties. It was just 200,000 for 12.5%. That's it. And it was just like, it was so early in the presentation. We wanted to hear from others, but I never got to really that was a good offer, Mr. Wonderful. Thank you. And we ended up going with 2 sharks. We just felt the value. We kind of had our eyes on Lori with her retail experience. We weren't in, Target or Costco or, the QVC stuff. And Alex Rodriguez, he was engaged to J-Lo at the time. There was, what could J-Lo do with us? And all these 2 sharks coming in together and the best of both worlds with, his gyms and the from a professional athlete and J-Lo, and then the retail experience. So we just decided to go 200,000, 20% with 2 sharks. Mark Cuban did mention, what if I call up Nike? What if I put you in the Mavericks team shops? And, it's like, oh man, if he calls Phil Knight at Nike, what could that be? But, we got into Skechers on our own. This is our Skech Eraser Skechers product. So we're proud of that. But so, yeah, we got the bidding war we wanted, and we got 2 sharks.
And was that the deal that you ended up with after the show? It went through as aired?
Yeah, that's the deal that we ended up with and agreed upon. And Lori and Dan and the Greniers have been super helpful with us. We were on QVC, we are in Target, and they've given us so much great advice. So we're definitely blessed with that, and it worked out. I mean, we got, they say, I think there was like 122 entrepreneurs that filmed, and I think they only aired maybe like 90. So there, there's that little percent chance that you're not going to air. And so we're just very grateful. And I've heard from some other Shark Tank people, like 45 to 50,000 people apply every year, and only 122 companies every year get in. So it's like harder to get in than Harvard. So we aired, we made it, we did a deal, we hugged, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah, it's really any Shark Tank alumni that airs, you're in a special, just a class of its own, a level of its own. And, again, from me being also a Shark Tank alumni in season 11, we sometimes forget how amazing it is to actually have been on the show and to achieve what we have achieved, whether the business keeps going, whether, like in my case, Genius Juice, we shut it down early 2024 after 10 years, right? But regardless, notwithstanding, the fact that you made it on the show, went through the interview process, the audition, interview, video, all these things, and only 0.1% of all brands or something around there actually get on, it's amazing. And it's a story that you can tell and whip it out anywhere, which is awesome too, whether it's parties. I mean, I'm sure this is an off the cuff question, but whenever you say it, just because it's pop culture, if you say, oh yeah, no, like, what do you do? Oh, yeah, I have a business and I do this and do that. I have a gum, or I have a thing that, cleans sneakers. And, oh, but I was on Shark Tank. Like, their ears, everything perks up. They're like, you're on Shark Tank. And they ask, who'd you do the deal with? When were you on? Can I watch it on YouTube? Like, all these things. So, like, Ken, like, to you, how often are you talking about this story of, yes, I was on Shark Tank, here's what happened? Like, how often do you bring that up?
Yeah, so funny enough, like the team and I were doing a postmortem at a bar next to our hotel yesterday, and the guy that was serving us literally came up to me, and I was like, dude, I just saw you on TV like 45 minutes ago, because I guess the episode re-aired. And I was like,
Nice.
are you sure it was me? He's like, yeah, you're the Shark Tank guy. So funny. And I live in Vegas, so when I'm out and about at the casinos, not necessarily gambling myself, but like, whether it's meeting up with a friend or going to dinner, people would have seen us on their flight over and then would drunkenly come up to Ryan and I, because we're so recognizable in that sense because of like our dynamic, and would stop us and be like, you guys are the gum guys. Oh my God, I just saw you on the plane. So it's kind of funny that it happens more often than not. And kind of funny enough that it happened last night as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
impeccable timing. How about you, Kevin? How often has anyone ever approached you just out of the blue and said, hey, I saw you on TV?
I don't think that's
Not
ever happened. Sometimes we're wearing our shirts. We're doing like a Costco roadshow or doing some type of an event, and people are just like, "What's Sneaker Racers?" And they'll Google it and be like, "Oh my God, they're on Shark Tank." But we actually get, and especially my co-founder, we had 100 million plus organic views on TikTok Shop last year, just because the product works so quickly. TikTok loved how the videos and you could see the before and after so quickly, and we fulfilled our orders very well. And so somebody came up to us and actually just like, oh my God, I saw you on TikTok. But so it's just like, man, times have changed now that they don't know us from Shark Tank anymore. But I usually say like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and we invented a shoe cleaner that's in Walmart and Target, and I was a little shy about all the attention about it sometimes, but it's yeah, people definitely perk up once you say those words, for sure.
Yeah, I can relate. And one mistakes that I've made is you put it on a display at your booth, right? Like, a little like acrylic display.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most, it becomes annoying because everyone comes up to you and they're like, how was it? We're the Sharks and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, dude, I've answered this like 10 fucking times. Like, actually more, like 50
Go
times.
register for this link to CPG Vibes.
Seriously. Yeah. Or just go to YouTube or whatever. And
yeah, this is an old banner from Costco Roadshow. So yeah, it's what season were you on? What Sharks? Yeah, we got all the
it actually slows you down because like you want to you're there to sell and like network, and then whether it's a trade show or in this case or Costco Roadshow, and people are just talking about Shark Tank and there's like 10 people in line behind them waiting just to try it out or see it, right? Very cool though. And then there's a question here.
Yeah, I was going to ask Jeff Likovsky's question from Brand Arctica. He says he doesn't think it's common knowledge how many times there's an offer made on the show, the founder accepts it, but the deal doesn't actually go through. How long does it take after the show is taped for the further negotiations and actual legal process to take? And I would throw this out to even you, Alex. So why don't we start with Kent and have everyone answer it?
Well, I didn't get a deal, so they kind of just shoot us out. Which is
There
pretty
you go.
funny.
I was going to say, so that wasn't
like,
an
all
issue.
right, cool. Here's the
Didn't
golf
have to worry
cart.
about
Get
it.
the hell out of here.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. But they did. It was interesting because right afterwards, and I'm sure this happened to all you guys, but they put us into that the psychiatric test to make sure that we were mentally okay before they kicked us out the door. So
yeah. The psychologist visited my the trailer, right? There's like you get golf carted out to the trailer. Then a psychologist comes by. I'm like, dude, like what has happened in the past on this show to require a psychologist? I guess.
Well,
if I had to guess, it's the stress and the nerves. But it has it.
I was like, I just need to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
yeah.
You need a bathologist, not a psychologist.
My co-founder, like right after he walked off the carpet, and we were done filming, all the emotions just out of like he just started like bawling. and just
Really?
like couldn't catch his breath. And it was like everything leading up to it, especially season 12. We were in the hotel for 9-10 days, and
Right.
we got COVID tested 3 times. You know, it was a different experience, and we just didn't see the outside world for a while. And that season might be a little bit more emotional than others because of that. And the producers were like, "Is he always like this?" And I was just like, "I don't know what's going on," but yeah, thank God for the psychiatrist.
Kevin, how about your experience with the legal process?
Yeah, we met with the lawyers right away and their teams, and we thought this would be like a quick, like we'll hear from them tomorrow, whatever. And it took a while. I mean, it's like 8 months, I think, of due diligence, and you did all this homework to get on the show, and then you got to do the homework all over again. You guys try to grow your business, and then maybe late at night I'll work on some paperwork, and
Yeah.
hard.
It's like a second job, like while we're going through that due diligence. It's for Genius Juice. And before I want to go into our story about due diligence and all that stuff, I think you're understating how much of a mental toll it took in that season, like the season of COVID. I've spoken to several people, that all walks of life, male, female, older, younger, people like Michael Pan, right? Pan's Mushroom Jerky, one of the most successful as far as sales as a Shark Tank food brand that was on that show. He did so much they had to rebuild their whole entire facility while they were fulfilling orders, and they were backed up for 3 or 4 months. They had to knock down walls. Whenever I would call Michael Pan with the Pan's Mushroom Jerky, I would hear forklifts in the background and beep, beep. I would be hearing construction noises in the background. He was never at home. He was like living at his facility, which is also his office. But he was telling me just the hair-raising stories, man, about what the brands had to go through that year, staying in the hotel for 6, 7, 8 days, not being able to go out, not even, it's true, not even being able to go outside downstairs. Like you had to literally
you couldn't even go in the hallway.
Couldn't go in the hallway. I mean, that's crazy. And you're confined in a small,
I think there was so much paranoia. Like if people are canoodling in the hallway and there's some type of outbreak, the season's over. Like
that's how serious it was.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, a lot of people don't remember.
If you weren't with a co-founder, if you were alone, I can't imagine. I was lucky enough to have a shared suite in the Venetian with Chris. But if you were by yourself for 9-10 days and you're just zooming and like I can't imagine. That's
can't even imagine. And then the food would be delivered to your door, right? Like by food service. You can't even go out to like choose the food that you want, right? If you're a special diet. Was it a larger suite at least where there was room? Or
at the time it was actually more square footage. It was 1,500 square foot, so it was bigger than my apartment back in Charlotte at the time. So I was like, this isn't bad. I have a view of the Wynn and the golf course. It could be a lot worse. I'm with my co-founder. We were having fun in there, and it's like it kind of forced us to like over prepare, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, and then the fact that you kept it together on the air after going through that experience, plus the nerves, plus all the work you did prior to that to even get qualified to be on the show. I can't imagine. I am now not surprised that your co-founder got so emotional from it.
Yeah,
just
the emotion hits you at different times. Yeah, it hit me later, but absolutely. It was, you'll see a lot of tears on that season.
So when you talk about the preparation you did, and I know what a viewer sees on TV with regards to someone makes an offer and you have to give an answer, what in reality, what's going on live as far as, are you able to, are there edits there that you can kind of talk to your co-founder and then give an answer? How does that whole process look? I'd like to hear that from both of you as well.
We'll start with Kent.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it's interesting because like I mentioned earlier, it was an hour and a half taping where it's this very long conversation. It felt like an investor meeting that they cut down to 7 minutes in the most dramatic moments. And you guys have probably experienced this, but there's cuts in there where you're just like, that's not the face I made when they said that, at all. Like, where'd you guys pull that from? And one of our friends, is Apollo Ono, and he filmed this entire segment to be like, hey guys, like, I'm Olympic athlete Apollo Ono, and I love these guys and I love the product. And we went through this entire legal process to make sure that we could have him basically like stream in and say his piece. And that was like 20 minutes of our show that they completely just decided to cut out in the end. So
wait, so did they show him at all, Apollo?
Yeah, they didn't show him at all in the episode. So, but
man.
My God.
yeah, it was really weird. And we went through this whole process to be like, that's going to be so good for TV, and let's get him up there. And yeah, for some reason they just like decided to edit it out. So it's in the hands of the editors at the end of the day, which is really crazy to just think about. So I don't know. They want good TV they just want good TV.
Right. How about your experience, Kevin?
Yeah, it's funny. Chris has a film background as an editor in Hollywood, so he is normally behind the camera, and so he kind of like understands how this all works. And I don't think many entrepreneurs on there do. So sometimes he would flub a line and kind of mess up his words. Just start over. Just I know the editors are going to cut that. Doesn't matter. And he would just say the sentence over again. I'm like, who does that? But sure, I mean, they're not going to keep that in, and he knew that. So, and then there would be time. One of the funniest parts about our segment is Chris, my co-founder, says, "I love your offer. It's a fantastic offer. Can you remind me what it is again?" And I was like, "Dude, just whisper. I knew what the offer was. Just ask me. I'm right here."
Right.
Because
Right.
and we were like a lot of times just like whispering to each other, like, we can take our time here. We can talk to each other. This is all going to be taken out. Doesn't matter. I don't know why he didn't ask me, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah. One thing that I've shared on past Outside the Tank episodes is that you sign a contract which allows them to edit however the hell they want to edit. So like to Kent's point, if you make a reaction that was supposed to be to a different statement they made and they attach that reaction to another statement, they can do that. They're in their legal rights to do that. So when in the Genius Juice episode, when Barbara said, towards the end, "I love you, Alex," and I had like a reaction like that, I'm like, I did not react like that. I mean, I probably smiled or smirked, but the reaction I had was like, I was in love or something like that. I'm like, oh my God. Like I was like melting or that was not my reaction. And then the other thing too, what's really interesting is that when you go out, and I'm sure you guys went through the same exact thing, there's this anticipation, the nerves, it's like rising, the stress is high. You come out to the carpet, you see all the sharks, right? And for you, Kevin, you had to, look, it was a lot wider. Ken, ours was a cakewalk. They're right there in front of us and they could hear us. I've heard audio issues that happened that season because you couldn't hear everyone. They were so spread out because of COVID. But what you do is you go to the rug, you stand there, and there's like a dot you have to stand on or a star or whatever. And then they say, okay, you have to wait 5 minutes now. We have to reset all the cameras, move everything over, change the lighting. And the producer told us, both me and the backup dancers, you cannot interact or get the attention or even make eye contact with the sharks while you're waiting. You can't say anything. You can't wink. And so we had the wigs on, the Einstein wigs, and the sharks were like ripping into us, like making fun of us because we're going to do a song and a dance. They're like, "Oh, look at the wigs. You look, ridiculous." And then like, I just had to be like, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't respond to their joking. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting.
What did you
I
stare
imagine I was just like looking at the wall, like looking over their heads. And then, and then what was interesting is when they served the Genius Juice, one of the people on set cracked it open and drank some of it and then put it in the serving tray.
Oh my gosh.
So they gave it to all of them. Lori had one that was already opened and like a quarter drink or whatever. And we had to stop the entire filming. And she said, "I need another one because this one's been opened." And I had tremendous dry mouth, like cotton mouth, like Hank Watt, with Nature's Wild Bear. He had tremendous dry mouth and it was really hard for him to talk. I wasn't that bad, but I was dehydrated even after drinking all this magnesium. And I asked Lori, I'm like, "I'm dying of thirst." Like when she said, "I need another one," I'm like, "Lori, I'm dying of thirst. Can I have like your water?" please. I was that desperate. I'm like, can I have your water? And she gave me her glass. She didn't even touch it yet. I could tell, like, it was full. And she gave me the glass. And I drank from the Shark Tank glass. It was pretty cool.
That couldn't happen in COVID year, that's for sure.
What's up?
That couldn't have happened in the COVID year, not sharing glasses.
Oh, no, definitely not. I wouldn't be able to even be within 10 feet of her, right?
Yeah.
It's also that 5 minutes is really quiet. And you can't see any of the cameras because of how they did the lighting. So,
Right.
like, there's jibs and things moving around, but it really feels like it's just you and the sharks. It's so awkward just standing there for 5 minutes.
It's awkward.
It's really amplified.
Yeah. The other side, I guess I'll say, I know we're at time here, is that for me, I know Ken and Kevin, but for me, it actually helped to where when it was like blackness, because then it was really just intimate conversation. And I kind of compare it to like a presidential debate where if it's just, there's no audience, it's a lot easier to debate each other versus having like an entire audience there. But so we're at time here. Alex got her. Okay, cooties. So we're just going to mention our sponsors again, and then we're going to go into a trivia question. But just to let everyone know, it's just tuning in. We have Kevin Consolo, the co-founder of it's Erasers. I see Sneak in there as well, but it's
Sneak Erasers. Yep.
Sneak Erasers. Okay, but the website is Erasers. I don't know how the hell you got that website, but erasers.com.
Great website.
Got lucky.
That's a phenomenal website. And then Kent Yoshimura, co-founder, and then his other co-founder Ryan. What's Ryan's last name?
Ryan Chen.
And so they're the co-founders of Neuro Gum. You can find them on Amazon or their website, neurogum.com. And then our sponsors for this episode are RangeMe, rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. And then we have our episode sponsor, which is Start Engine, Melting Forest, and they are on Start Engine. So you can go to startengine.com/offering/melting forest, and you can invest in Melting Forest on their equity crowdfunding campaign that we worked on over at Genius Dreams. So I wanted to also throw in, if you guys want, I kind of prefaced this earlier. Do you want to throw in for a potential second prize with your products?
Yeah.
You're asking us? Yeah, totally.
It's an offer. It's an offer.
2 new flavors.
Nice.
I'm feeling festive. Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, it's a season of giving. So what we're going to do, I think, Wade, let's have first two answers. The first answer will get the 12-pack of Melting Forest. The second answer that gets it right will get a pack of Neuro Gum, the 2 new flavors, and the Sneak Erasers. So I didn't write down crap. I don't prepare for anything, but I'll turn it back to you guys. So we usually do a trivia question. Something that we mentioned in this episode, a fact or a location or a number or a date. So let's, do you guys have a question in mind? Something that was mentioned in the episode that's not easy to answer.
How about the hotel in Vegas where season 12 was filmed? It's mentioned, I think, twice.
There you
Okay.
go.
Is that too hard?
Nope.
That's a good one. And that's the first question. And then Kent, do you have a second question in mind? If not, I got one in my head.
Yeah, go for it. You're the pro here.
So the genius. So what, you have to name both. Which seasons were Sneak Erasers and Neuro Gum on of Shark Tank? All right, so Hugh Curtis got the first one. So he gets the 12-pack of Melting Forest. And then the second question, so that the first question shut down. That's already been answered. The second question, we're going to do another question instead of a second answer. I misspoke. Second question is, what seasons were they on? Oh, you have to name both. And I'll give you a clue. It's 10 or above. Okay, so Jeff Likovsky got it, and he beat out Hugh Curtis by a hair.
You got the first one, so
yeah, he can't get both. All right, so make sure to email cpgvibes100@gmail.com and claim your prize, and we'll connect you with the brands, and they'll send it out to you. Hopefully, you get it before Christmas. We'll see. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to definitely do another one. We'll bring you back for another Outside the Tank because I thought it just went great. Appreciate you taking the time. Yeah, everyone have a wonderful holiday season. Now, just want to mention as well, Wade, I think we are calendaring. We plan it live. That's how disorganized we are
Right.
on the show. So I know that next week we are not going to have a show because it's December 27th. Wade, I think January 3rd. You tell me. Are you traveling? Yes, no, maybe so.
Not that I'm aware of, but
Okay.
But TBD.
TBD. We'll figure it out off the air instead of doing it on the air. But 50-50 shot, we'll have a show on January 3rd. Until then, everyone have a safe, wonderful holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. And Kevin, Ken, thank you again for joining us on CPG Vibes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.
Take
Bye.
care, everyone.